Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How Are You Getting Fucked? I'm your host, Louis Rossman, and today we're going to talk about a bike that costs over $10,000 that you must go to the dealer to service if you want to service it according to the standards in the manual. Today we're going to be talking about the Ninja 7 Hybrid. Now, the Ninja 7 Hybrid is a unique motorcycle. Admittedly, not a lot of these things sold. It is not a very popular bike, but it did sell over 1,000 of them, and I think that the people that paid over $10,000 for this should have the ability to fix what they bought and paid for. This is unique. It doesn't have a clutch lever, and it also doesn't have a foot shifter. The clutch is only in this bike as part of a software-controlled actuator, so if you want to, calibrating this thing is necessary. Now, take a look at what it says in the service manual screenshot that I have here on consumerrights.wiki. The vehicle is equipped with the electronic-controlled hydraulic clutch system. The system uses the engine oil pressure to actuate the clutch. Therefore, it requires the hydraulic control parameters in the ECU to be reset when the engine oil is changed. With the engine cold, connect the KVCS to the vehicle and enter the resetting mode. See the KVCS instruction manual for details. Now, you may not have access to KVCS or the KVCS instruction manual. At this point, you may understand why it is that I despise instruction manuals. I like schematics. I hate manuals. I can't remember the last time that I had a problem with a product and I went to the instruction manual and I didn't just start cursing at the fact that it either A, doesn't answer my question, or B, tells me to do something that's impossible. And in this case, the manual is telling you to get access to KVCS. So the person that bought this bike is thinking, oh, what the fuck is KVCS? He Googles it to find out that this is something that belongs to Kawasaki. So he asked Kawasaki customer support via their portal in May 2026, and a senior customer care specialist emailed him the following, and I quote, "The diagnostic and calibration software required for clutch calibration, along with the tools necessary to operate the software, are available exclusively through authorized Kawasaki dealerships. Service documentation outlining clutch calibration procedures, required post-maintenance steps, and technical instructions for properly performing these procedures is available in the service manual and through authorized Kawasaki dealerships. Yes, the clutch calibration procedure is required following routine maintenance such as oil changes or clutch-related service. And yes, our authorized Kawasaki dealerships are provided access to the software and tools required to perform this calibration. No, those same tools and software are not available to vehicle owners or independent repair providers." So they're very clearly saying that this tool is required to do the job. It is required that you do this after an oil change, and no, we're not going to tell you how to do it. AKA, you spent over $10,000 on a fucking motorcycle from a major brand, and you can't do an oil change on your own without it not working the way that it's supposed to unless you go to a dealer. Now, this is not going to be the biggest deal if you've rode around a few hundred miles, right? A few hundred miles, you're probably not going to get screwed by this. But if you get 10,000, 20,000, 80,000 miles in, at some point you are going to want this to be calibrated because, again, you don't have a clutch lever on this hybrid motorcycle. What's interesting is that the gentleman that sent me this email says, and I quote, "Ironically, I contacted my local dealer/service center for a quote, but they never replied. I assume they don't want to work on it. The next one is about 30 miles away. Some people report being over 100 miles away from the dealer. It also just adds to the cost of ownership. If I have to pay the dealers an hourly rate to run a program after every oil change, it just feels like an ownership subscription fee loophole." Something that I don't think is being taken into consideration here is, what if you email a dealer and say, "I want to pay you to do an oil change," and they just say no, or they just don't respond to you? Because there are times that businesses get busy. I'm not proud of it with my company, but there are times where people have emailed, and instead of getting a response in a few hours, they may have not gotten a response at all. I apologize for the time periods when this happened. Anytime this has happened, we've tried to hire new people. I've stayed at work till 2 or 3 in the morning at those times to try and catch up on everything. But the point is, this is why it's very important that you not be stuck dealing with one individual point of failure for service, whether that is the authorized dealer, whether it's the manufacturer, or whether it's me. This is why you require the freedom to work on your own things and should demand it when you pay over $10,000 to get a motorcycle. Yeah, it's not the most popular motorcycle. Yeah, not a lot of people bought it. But that's not the point. The point is that what's going on with this very unpopular motorcycle is part of a larger trend of what's happening with automobiles and, dare I say it, everything as time moves forward. More lockdown, less control that you have over the product, and the manufacturer literally just going, "Yes, the clutch calibration procedure is required. Yes, our authorized Kawasaki dealerships have provided access to the tool. No, you're not." Well, fuck you very much, Mr. Senior Customer Care Specialist at Kawasaki Motorsport. That's pretty fucking lame. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Does this affect your decision on whether or not you would want to purchase a Kawasaki motorcycle into the future? Would you be more or less likely to purchase a motorcycle if it says in the service manual that you need a tool that you can't get access to do something as basic as an oil change? When you email me things like this, I will look into the issue, and every time I do, I'm going to make an article on consumerrights.wiki. When I make these articles on consumerrights.wiki, I'm going to send you a copy of the article, and I'm going to ask that you take a look at the article and do your best to look through it, figure out if I've missed anything in the story, and update it if I have. The reason I do this is because when many people hear about these issues, they want to share it with their friends. But I get that there are a lot of people that are not going to want to listen to me rage into a camera for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. For some people, it may be best if they see an article that is written in a neutral tone of voice that has all the citations there that they can read when they want to read it without having to listen to me. That's why I have the Consumer Rights Wiki. The purpose behind the Consumer Rights Wiki is to document all these practices that companies take so that you don't have to listen to me talk for hours and hours at a time to learn about these things, and so that other people who don't want to listen to somebody like me can also learn about these issues in a factual, neutral, and unbiased way. When I respond with these types of links, do me a favor and look through it, and feel free to correct, feel free to edit, feel free to revise. You do not even have to log into this website to edit things, and there are people looking at the edits on a regular basis to try and ensure that they are held up and maintained to our quality standards all the time. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
We also have the duty not to infringe the IP rights in the process. It is in fact the manufacturers who have the relevant rights, not consumers.